In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this Viking Longhouse. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Alright, ladies and gents, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this Viking Longhouse. So, as with all of my build tutorials, location is going to be extremely important. You don't want to build something in a location that it doesn't really make sense. So, for example, you wouldn't want to build a log cabin in the Nether because logically that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I like to apply this same type of logic to all of my builds in Minecraft. So, for a Viking Longhouse, you got to know a little bit about Vikings. Vikings were very heavy sea-dwelling people. They liked to raid and pillage towns along the coast, so they also lived along the coast so that they could quickly and easily get to all of their ships. So what I did was I found a nice area here along the coastline to the ocean for us to start our Viking Longhouse. So once again, location very important here. It's really going to make your entire build. Alright, ladies and gents, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about building this Viking Longhouse. Now, this is going to be a very resource-heavy build because it is so large. It's also going to be very heavy on spruce materials, so you're going to need a ton of spruce logs, stripped spruce logs, trapdoors, planks, doors, fences, and spruce stairs. You're also going to need some acacia wood. This is very different from acacia logs because this is actually crafted, so you're going to need to get your hands on a good amount of logs so that you can make the wood blocks. The difference between the wood blocks and the logs is that this has the bark texture on all sides, where the logs has the wood texture on one of the sides. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's get into building this bad boy. So I'm going to go ahead and start by marking out the area. Now, with Viking Longhouses, you're basically going to want them to be twice as long as they are wide. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. If you want to go longer, that's fine, but you never want to have a width that is longer than the length because that just wouldn't make sense for a longhouse, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to start right here and place logs for a corner. So I'm gonna go, let's say 7 blocks up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be relatively tall and also relatively deep. Actually, 7 may be a little bit too much. Let's knock it down to 5. Yeah, that'll look a little bit better. So now what we're going to do is go 17 blocks in width. So we're going to count this block. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So right here will be our 17th block. So we want to go 5 blocks up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these should be at the exact same height. Now, in order for me to go double back from 17, we would have to go back to 34. Now, I'm going to go a little bit less than that because I want to deal with odd numbers. So instead of going 34 blocks out, I'm going to go 33 blocks out. So that is where this little hole is right here. I went ahead and marked it out before we started recording. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. These are our 3 corners. Let's go ahead and make our 4th. So once again, 17 blocks in this direction, or you can just kind of eyeball it and do, you know, match up the corners like this. So this should be where our last corner is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with most builds, what I would do at this point would be come up with the front of the building and probably the back of the building. But for a Viking Longhouse, I find a different approach to be necessary. I find it a whole lot easier to start with the roof of the building and then worry about doing all of the arches and things like that. So for this build, I am actually going to start with the roof. And the way that I'm going to do this is just coming on top of this log and placing down stairs. And we're also going to connect up these pillars by just some logs running all the way across. It's going to look like one very long beam. So now what I'm going to do is just build up these stairs until our roof comes to a point. So I'm just going to do something a bit like this. And we're going to do this on both sides until our roof meets up in the middle. So I'll do the exact same thing on this side. However, once we get relatively close, I actually want a flat part toward the top of the roof. So I'll show you guys what I mean here in just a second. Let's just build this up a little bit more. I'm just using these stairs, by the way, to build up. I'm not actually going to leave these. We're actually going to put some type of design at the front of this building. So go ahead and head back on this side, build up with these guys. And now let's see, how many blocks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do something a bit like this. Is that at the same height? That is at the same height, and we now have 3 blocks in the middle. This is our center block, so let's go ahead and mark that real quick, just so we have a reference. Now what I'm going to do is just take some spruce planks and connect these guys up just like so. Now the reason that I'm doing that is I want to have a flat part all the way down the center of our roof here when we're done. Now what I'm going to do is place some stairs on top of this last set of stairs that we did, going the other direction. This is just going to add a little bit of decoration to the roof. And now what I'm going to do is remove all of these blocks that I used to stack up with for the stairs. So go ahead, delete all of these. You don't need any of these. You can just fill this in with dirt or whatever you want to. I just had stairs in my inventory, so I decided to use that. So this is what you should be left with, a nice little arch like this. And now what you want to do is do the exact same thing for the back area. Alright, ladies and gents, so once you are done with your arches, you should have something that looks a bit like this. Now what I'm going to do is add a very slight overhang with these spruce stairs. Now the reason that I'm doing this is just to add a little bit of depth to the build. You don't want your side of your building to be completely flat because it just wouldn't look that good. So just add a very slight overhang with your roof in order to add just a little bit of detail. Now, Viking longhouses are notoriously very plain. It's basically just wood with hay on top for a roof. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the roof, because the roof itself I'm going to use acacia wood for. Now, the reason for this is there's not really a good hay block in the game. Like, if you check out what hay looks like, it's this ugly yellow cheese looking color that just doesn't look good for a roof. If we go ahead and place this down here, you can see that's going to stand out way too much. And roofs that were made out of hay more closely resembled like a gray texture. So I think that this acacia wood is going to look very, very nice for our roof. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill all the way down with this acacia wood, all the way down the roof on every single one of these stair blocks, and fill this baby in. I'm also going to come down one from the edge of this acacia wood and give the illusion that like the basically that the hay is kind of hanging over the ledge of the wood itself. That way it looks like this is nice, thick hay up here because it sticks out from the stairs themselves, but also that it kind of hangs over the edge of the roof as well, and it's not completely supported by the wood, and maybe it'll look like it's kind of falling off or something like that. So do something a bit like that on the edge, and then fill all of this in, but do not fill in these 3 blocks here, because we're going to do something very special with them. So fill in all here, and all the way down the diagonal with this acacia wood. And once again, remember to do your overhang block just like this, just to add a little bit more detail in there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back when all of this is done. Alright, ladies and gents, so once you are done placing down all of your acacia wood, you should have something that looks a bit like this, once again with a 3-block gap in the middle of your roof. Now what you're going to want to do is start filling in that 3-block gap with some spruce trapdoors. So just go all the way down your roof, just like this, adding in trapdoors and filling this in. Now the reason that you want to do this is going to let in natural light into your build during the daytime. So at night, you'll have all of your torches and lighting down here, and it'll leave the roof area kind of dark and gloomy. But during the day, it's going to let in natural light from your sun and make all of this area look nice and bright. And your floor will also be nice and bright from the torches as well. It's just a nice little lighting effect that I like doing inside of my builds. So yeah, just go ahead, add spruce trapdoors all the way down. And also, eventually we'll use this for some ventilation for some things that we plan on building on the inside. And we can open up these trapdoors in order to get a hole in our roof. But we'll cover that a little bit later. For right now, just get the trapdoors in and you'll be fine. Okay, so now you're left with this really, really huge roof with not a lot of support to this guy. So what we want to do is start adding in a bit of support to make this thing look like it could be a structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle block between this corner and this corner. Now, I've went ahead and already mapped this out, and it should be the 18th block right here in the center. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 blocks on each side, making this the 18th, and this should be our center block. I'm going to go ahead and run this all the way up until it meets with the acacia wood. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just do a mirror image, just like so. Now what I'm going to do is try and find another middle block somewhere along here. So let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have a 16 block gap. So if we do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that'll be a block, and then this will be a block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I miscount that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is our 2 middle blocks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring these all the way up to the roof as well. So once again, doing the exact same thing on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like so. And now this should be our center blocks for both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mirror this on the other side real quick. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this to line this up. It looks like it is this block, these 2 blocks here. And we're going to build that all the way up. And then the exact same thing over here. So just like so. And build this all the way up. There we go. Go ahead and set our time back today. So this is what you should be left with by the time you are done adding in all of your supports. Now what you're going to want to do is the way that Viking houses were actually set up is the roof was held up by these kind of stick logs. They were basically logs that were kind of stripped down, and they kind of went at an angle throughout the roof up and down. So in order to kind of simulate that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of a step down, just like so, all the way down the side of our building. And then what I'm going to do is remove some of these center blocks. So you should have something a bit like this. Now I'm going to do this all the way down on each and every one of these supports. So just like so, and then like so, and then like so. So that you have a nice little angle here, and you can do this exact same pattern over and over again. Make sure that everything lines up all the way down, and you just want to add this into all of your supports. And I missed a block right there. And right there. Make sure that these are all lined up, and you are good to go. So you're going to do the same thing on each and every support that you have all the way down and around your build, just to make sure that everything looks nice and uniform. But yeah, this is just going to add a nice little layer of detail to your build. So something a bit like that. Nice. So go ahead and do this on all of your supports, and I'll bring you guys back in just a second. All right, ladies and gents, so when you are done, you should have something that looks a bit like this. a nice, well-supported roof structure with some nice supports coming down the side, also holding up the roof. So this is looking much better already, and actually looks like this could exist in real life. Still may look a little bit heavy, but we'll fix that later on as we get some of these walls in as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and continue on here. So I think the next thing that I want to do is actually get in where I want my door. So this is obviously the center block. So this is going to be where our door is going to sit. So let's go ahead and build up something a little bit like so. And I'm just going to do 3 wide of wood all the way down just like so. And then a 2 block missing right there with a spruce door in the middle. Now this is just going to be for me to line this bad boy up. We're actually going to do something a little bit nicer here, I think, for our area. So let's see. We could do a 3 wide door, but I feel like that may be a bit overkill. Let's see. If I do 3 wide, how do I like that? You know what? I actually think that the 3 wide might work for this build. It's big enough that a 3 wide door could actually look pretty good. So what I'll do is I will just kind of frame this guy in a bit like this. And there we go. We now have our door. We can also build up just a tad like this. Maybe put in some spruce planks like that, just to add in a bit of detail and a bit of depth. Now, something that you guys may not know about the Viking Longhouses is the front of them are very, very flat. Like, something that we could do even would be like add a little bit of a roof here with like these spruce stairs. But even that may be a bit too much, because the way that Viking longhouses were they were extremely flat faces. They just didn't have a lot of depth to them. I think that I might actually take the staircase out a bit here, just to kind of break up the way that this area is. Now, should I bring my acacia wood further? I think I should. Let's remove this. And let's get our acacia wood all the way to the front up here. Just like so. And we'll also move these stairs just like so as well. This will help break up the front ever so slightly, because the rest of this is going to be relatively flat. So if we can just have an overhang at the front, that'll help at least a little bit. It's not going to make a world of difference, but it'll help out some. So once again, we'll just take this wood, extend it out a bit like this. And sometimes whenever you're building, you just need to think on your toes a bit whenever you're doing stuff. What will look better? And yeah, I definitely think that this looks a little bit better. Add in our spruce, or not our spruce, our acacia wood just like so. And yeah, I think that looks a little bit better already. Now, let's see. Is there a middle block here? It does seem like this can be a middle block. And then this can be a middle block as well. So we're just going to try and break up this face into sections. Let's do like 3 blocks of oak, or not oak, of spruce, all the way up just like this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then maybe do like a cross section just like so to break this into sections even more. Yeah, I like that. That's looking pretty good so far. I do like that a lot. Now, we do need to replicate this at the back, so do remember that. If you left an overhang at the front, you need to copy the exact same thing at the back of the longhouse. So I'm probably just going to do one side of this and leave you guys to do the back side, but basically it's going to be the exact same thing, except you don't really need to put doors on the back side. You can put like planks or something like that instead, but yeah. Let's just see. Another thing that longhouses didn't have was they didn't have any windows at all. So really, we should just kind of fill this in with a solid block, some type of solid block of wood. I'm going to use this stripped spruce wood because I think it'll look nice in this area. So just something a bit like this to break that up. Yeah, that's a nice fill-in block. I do like that a lot. Then up here, we can use a different type of wood. We'll use planks in this case, just to give us a different texture and kind of break away the roof from what would be the ground floor down there. So this would be living space, this would be roof. So I think that this will look pretty decent. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I mean, we can add like some fences in and things like that going up just to add a bit of detail, a bit of depth to the build. You can't add in too much or else it won't look like a Viking Longhouse, but you can add in small things like this. Another thing that you can do is detailing. Detailing is a huge thing inside of builds like this. So things like banners, you can get like red banners like this and maybe throw them up here and then on each side of the door. That'll add a bit of depth. Getting some bushes. Let's see. We'll obviously want to use spruce bushes just like this. And maybe add something like this out to the front of the house as well. Especially if there's like different levels like this. That'll work very nicely as well. Also, think about things outside of your builds that would be useful. So, in this case, this bush here probably wouldn't actually be there and would probably be somewhere off to the side like this. And here at the front, the Vikings would probably have something very useful, such as maybe a trough. Maybe before they go into this big dining hall, they would have a trough to kind of wash up in. So, I could do something like this, replace this area with planks. And then get, do I have my trapdoors still? Let's get these spruce trapdoors down and put them up like this. And there you go. You now have a trough that you can fill with water. And now the soldiers that come in that need to clean up before they go and eat dinner in the long hall or in the longhouse, they can clean up here before they go inside. So you can always add little things like that for detail as well. You can also add in things like armor stands as if they are drying off their clothes outside while they're inside getting a drink. So you can add in, you know, things like an armor stand, a couple of them maybe, do something a bit like, I don't know, something like that. Maybe another one over here or something. And then get like some leather armor and add that in as well. So, armor, and I'll just grab like a leather tunic and leather pants. This is just detail to kind of break up the front here, because once again, you can't really add too much to the front or it's going to look really weird. So we got to kind of find different ways to break this up. So I'll go ahead and get rid of the armor stands for now. Anything else that I could do to break this area up? You can do something like a little roof or something here may work. I don't really like that because that's not really traditional with how they do things. How the Vikings like set things up. Another thing that you could do, they did have like fences for their animals. You could do something like that out here at the front, but I would have to remove my armor stands in order to do that. And I quite like those being at the front. You know what? I think I'm going to leave the front for right now. And if I have any more details that I want to add in later, we can come back and do that. Maybe do something like this across the top. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Maybe add some spruce trap doors just to like a face here to add a bit of depth. Oh, you know what we could even do? We could like inset some windows just like this on each side. So it's not really a window, but it's just something to add a little bit of something to break up the front here. Yeah, I think I like that a lot. Just a little bit of spruce trap doorage goes a long way in these builds. So maybe we'll even add like some above these doors to make this look a little bit higher as well. Let's see. I may have to do this from this side. Yeah, there we go. So make these doors look a little bit bigger. Like so. That's not bad. That's not bad. I quite like that, actually. Yeah, that's pretty good. I wish that this door didn't have this lighter texture up at the top here, because then it would blend really well. But, you know, overall, I think that this looks pretty good for the outside for right now. We can also come back later, add in like a path to decorate this up, add some fence posts with like some torches or even the new lanterns on top. But all of this is just decoration stuff at this point, which we'll get to later on in the video in much more detail. Let's go ahead and head inside and let's check out these outer walls. Now, the outer walls of all Viking settlements were extremely plain. They didn't have a lot going on. It was mostly just wood or even some of this hay just kind of leaned up against the wall. So what we're going to do on the inside here is just leave it exactly that. Leave it very plain. Come all the way down with spruce wood planks all the way down the side and just fill all of this in. And then also what we're going to do is do an exact mirror of the front here at the back, except without the door. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring you guys back in just a minute. All right, ladies and gents, so this is what I did for the back of my longhouse. I left it pretty much a mirror of the front, except for the doors. And also, I didn't add in as many details to the back. So I don't have bushes, I don't have any banners or anything like that. And that's because this is not the main entrance. It's not supposed to be very pretty. It's supposed to be just another wall for the most part. Now, what I do want to do back here is kind of add in an animal pen just to really decorate this area a bit. So what I'll do is I'll just do kind of a disorderly animal pen because the Vikings, they weren't exactly the best builders in the world, so just something that's kind of oddly shaped stuck back here may do quite nice back here. So I'm just going to do something a bit like this, have it curve to the land a tad, and then just come right across back here. So something that looks a bit like this would look great for an animal pen. Now, all you would need to do would be remove one of these, add in a fence gate, just like so. Once again, I would recommend using spruce. Place that bad boy in there and then get you some animals added in. So I'm going to do some sheep. I feel like that's something that these guys would have. What was this called? Sheep spawn egg. Okay, just wanted to make sure I was grabbing the right thing. So go ahead, add a couple of these guys in here. And there you go. You now have yourself a nice little animal pen off the back that looks pretty good and adds a little bit of detail to this area. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move into probably the best part of this entire build, the inside. And this is where detailing and using your imagination is really going to come into play. So let's go ahead and open up this bad boy. And look at how much room you have to work with here. You have a lot of area to play with and a lot of area to add in a lot of detail. You can add in bars. You can add in like a king's chair, like the Jarl's chair for the Viking village. You can even add like a private back room at the back here. And I plan on doing a lot of that with this build. So without further ado, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and replace the floor here with grass. Instead of with grass, I'm going to have in some nice spruce planks. So I'm just going to remove all of this, add in the spruce planks, and I'll bring you guys back in just a minute. Alright, ladies and gents, so I have now replaced the floor with the spruce planks down here, and I also went ahead and sectioned off this back room as kind of like a private quarters area. This will be a place for my bed, my enchanting table, things like that, and the place that I put this wall is just right here on this second 2-wide beam that we have. So this was a 2-wide beam, then we had a 1-wide beam, and then we had another 2-wide beam here, and I just added our wall onto this block here. So you can go ahead and section this off for yourself and then add in a nice little door here so you have yourself some private quarters. Now out here will be your entertainment area. This will be where all of your fellow Vikings come to hang out, get drinks at the bar, cook some stuff in like a middle fire pit, and have some tables and chairs around for them to sit at. Also, it's going to be a place for the Jarl to sit, have a Jarl's chair, kind of like a king's chair right here in the middle for everyone to see and come up to and ask for help or for ships or whatever they need. So we're going to be spending a lot of time here on detailing in this room. We also still need to work on the outside as well, to where this interior kind of blends with the outside. And you know what? I might go ahead and finish up the outside real quick. So I do like what we're doing out here, but I do think that it could use just a bit more detail. Maybe just a path or something like that would really break this area up. So let's get like some coarse dirt. Let's get some like gravel, things like that to kind of make this look like a path. So if I just kind of break this up, add in some coarse dirt, and then also add in a bit of gravel. So just like so maybe. And just kind of spread this about. I think this will look really nice. So just like that. Maybe have coarse dirt up in there. Yeah, that's looking a lot better already. Let's go ahead and remove this guy, though. I don't like how lanterns look next to Viking builds. I think that what we need to do is, because Vikings were pretty rudimentary, so they mostly use torches and things like that. So lanterns, I don't feel like you would see that around too often. So maybe let's break up this area with some more fences and just put like some torches on top in order to make that area look a little bit better. Maybe even do some like out here for like the pathway so people can see as they enter into the building, just to add a bit more detail there. We can also add like a light here. That way people can see as they put on their armor and stuff, leaving the longhouse itself. Yeah, something that like that looks really nice out here, and that adds just a bit of detail. Let's go ahead and check out what this looks like at night. Just like so. And yeah, I think that that's a really good looking outside so far. May want to add in some other hidden lights down here just to keep mobs from spawning. So add them in like on the underside of these beams or something like that. But that's kind of up to you guys. I'll let you guys decide if you want to do that or not. But I think it'll really add something to the build. Maybe even if you add it under here on each side of the beams. That way it's a little bit more hidden. Like so. I think that that would look even better even. So let's go ahead and remove those torches and kind of add them on the underside of these logs. Just like so. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks a lot better, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the same thing to this side. We'll just add in torches like this. And I know that this is going to be a much longer video than you guys are probably used to for the build tutorials, but I really want to show you guys how to get in a ton of detail into your build. So things like this, while they seem unimportant, they kind of are. It really makes the entire build if you add in these small details. So now we have a very nice detailed front that looks pretty darn good. I do like how this thing turned out. Let's go ahead and head into the inside, where we now need to entertain some guests. So first and foremost, I want to find my middle block here. And in the middle, I want to add a nice fire pit. So this will be an area for people to cook things that they've killed and stuff like that. Now, the way that I want to do this is I actually want to dig down a bit and take some hay bales. One of the hidden features inside of Minecraft 1.14 is that hay bales actually make campfires make more smoke. So if I go ahead and place down hay bales just like so, and then I take some campfires like this and add them along a little bit of something like that, you can see that the smoke is going to go way, way, way up past the roof. Actually, if we had those trapdoors open, it would go way up into the air. And actually, I don't know that I like this level. I think that I might even bring this up one more level just so that you can really see the fire in this build. So maybe add this back down just like so. add our hay bales even with the floor, and then add our campfires on top of those hay bales. I don't like that we can see the yellow of the hay bales through there, so what I'll probably do is add in something like these cobblestone stairs and make this like an actual fire pit all the way down the middle of the room, and then this will look even better. Yeah, I like this a lot. So do something a bit like that. That's really going to break up the middle of the room. And now what we can do, let's go ahead and change time to day and also set weather to clear. What I can do is open up the trapdoors that are above all of this smoke. So we have like a ventilation system just like so. Nice. Now we do have one trapdoor that is facing the wrong way. This one right here. So I'm going to break that guy. And where's our trapdoors at? Just like so. And there we go. Now we have a ventilation system in the roof to let all of that smoke out. And that's going to look really cool whenever we get some tables and chairs around here as well. I really like how that's turning out. Let's go ahead and take some fences, and we're just going to detail our roof a little bit as well. What I'm going to do is just add in like a row of these fence gates all the way across. And this is just going to kind of break up the roof. Now, I don't know. This may stop the smoke. In fact, actually, it looks like it's just stopping some of the smoke, which is kind of odd. But I think I'll just remove it from above where the fire pit is and then kind of continue it back here. So we can do something a bit like this. And this will just help to break up the roof up here so it looks a little bit more natural. So something a bit like so. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll just continue it on right back over to our private quarters back here. So just like this. Nope. There. And then all the way back. Just like so. This will look really nice as like a little bit of detail to the room. Now, another thing that we can do is add in some fences like so, and then come directly across our fire pit to where this looks like a place for people to hang meat and kind of cook them above the fire in the smoke. So that's another little nice detail that you can add into your builds. Another thing that we probably need to add is a bar somewhere. So what I'll do is I'll get a different type of stair. So let's see what stair would look really good in here. And in case you guys can't tell, this is the type of building that I really like to do. I like to do really detail-oriented builds. So just bear with me here. This might take me a while to get all of the details that I want into this area. So once again, these guys were not particularly good builders, the Vikings. So doing something a bit like this for a bar, if I can do it. Let's see. If I get a piece of gravel. There we go. If we do like an upside down stair, kind of like this. And actually, it may even look better to face it the other way, as if people were like pulling up chairs to a bar. So do something a bit like that. And then fill this back in. We can do like a bar back here and have like a bartender, like throw in a villager or something like that. And we'll just kind of wrap this around just like so. Have this go like this. And we still have plenty of walk room here, which is exactly what we want. Go ahead and throw this down, connected to there. And then back at the back here, we can add in like some barrels of like mead or ale or whatever these guys drank. And we can have it on tap for them. So do something a bit like this, a bit like this, and then maybe have a couple of barrels facing this way as well. And you can also use this for storage if you need to. There we go. Yeah, that looks really nice. We can even add like some dinner plates, some item frames to the bar as well, just to give it a little bit of detail here, just like so. And then maybe some flower pots as like mugs. So we can have like their ale is next to their dinner plates, just like so. Yeah, I like that. I like how that is looking so far. Now, as for like the bar stools or something like that, I don't know that we can get that into here. We may just have to do normal chairs. So we'll just do like some oak stairs maybe and use these as kind of our bar stools. Get some signs, add in a bit of detail like this. So make it look like it's an actual chair for people to sit at. Just like so. Oh, I'm not going to be able to add one there. Let's see. If I remove this and add it here, and I move this dinner plate down. Let's see. See, some of the details, sometimes working out details in these builds is kind of the hardest part sometimes. Let's do flower pot. That's what I was looking for. Flower pot. And add that in just like so. And go ahead and get these signs back out. And there we go. Really, everything that's inside of here, your structure for the most part is done. Like the actual build of the longhouse is done. The rest of this is mostly just detail adding, really. It's a lot of adding little small details like a bar, like a cooking pit. Even you can add like in our corner, you can add like an armory. So if we get something like an armor stand or something like this, this will be a great thing to add as like, you can even do it as like a market. I wouldn't really do that inside of a longhouse, but maybe just like your army members' iron armor. So if I go ahead and get some of this, we'll get like some chest plates, some legs, things like this, just to kind of fill on these armor stands here. So just something a bit like so. There we go. That's looking pretty nice. I like how that's looking. So this is like your good armor, and then out here is like your tunics that you don't really use that often. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. We'll have to decorate this a little bit more, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on decorating the inside of here, and I'll come back in just a few minutes and show you guys some of the details that I have added to this area. All right, ladies and gents, so here is the entertainment area of the long haul. This is what I have come up with. As you can see over here on the left, you have some sort of armory. You have some armor stands with the different iron armors on it and the chainmail. Above it, you have their signature Viking axes right above it, ready for them to grab. And this is obviously a very well lit area because these guys are really proud of their armor, and this is something that they need to be able to get to if they're in a pinch, if somebody is attacking their area or something. They need to be able to see this in order to grab everything very quickly. So this is a super well lit area. Over here, you have some type of card playing table. You have a bunch of tables around. Maybe some people are drinking out of the mugs or the flower pots that they have here. And then here in the center is a cartography table, which to me looks kind of like a playing card table of some sort, so I went ahead and added that in as well. Right here I have some pistons with some redstone blocks underneath just to give them the power to where they're constantly extended and look like a table itself. Over here we have our bar, which I've already shown you guys. I also added in kind of this nice little roof area made out of fences above it, just because I thought it looked nice. It looks kind of like wine racks or something like that. Obviously, you have the barrels back here for all of the mead and the ale and things like that. And then you have some people that are here eating with, you know, maybe some mugs and stuff, maybe drinking, having a good time. Right here, you have your fire pit, as per usual, cooking all of the food for the place. And then over here, you have another set of table with drinks and some plates and things on it. I really just kind of made this area as kind of like, if this is the king, which I'll get here in just a second. If this is the king, this is maybe some of his most trusted advisors over here that are kind of looking out over the place, kind of, you know, watching what these hooligans are doing and making sure they're not conspiring against the king and stuff like that. So I really like this area kind of sectioned off. And then this is the main table. This is the head of the table. This is the king's table. This is where the Jarl will sit, and he is got this really cool looking throne, and he's got himself a big table with maybe like his wife and his heir kind of sit next to him, something like that. I kind of thought about doing his table a little bit different because he is the king. Having a different style of table would look cool. So I guess I'll let you guys decide if you want to do something different. But for right now, I'm using these pistons. The other method that I thought about doing was the same method that I did for my campsite, which would have been something like spruce log like this, just to place against, and then take that and do the same thing on this side, just like so, and then get some slabs. Just get some regular oak slabs like this, and then come across just like this. But obviously, this would be in front of this. Like, instead of this being here, this would be here, and I feel like that's a little bit too basic. It's not as detailed as the pistons, so I really like how this looks. And I think I'm going to keep it for right now. So that is my table and my entire entertainment area for this long haul. Now, there's still other details that you can add in. You can add in things hanging from the top here. You can like make little small boats or something like that hanging from these fence posts, things like that. You can really go all out with the detail in here, but as far as just some general ideas for you guys to play around with, this is what I'm sticking with, and you guys can play around with this however you want. Once again, don't use too many lanterns around here. Make sure that you are using torches, because once again, the Vikings, they weren't the smartest people in the world. I know I have some lanterns here, but that's just because this is like a bar. But the rest of the area really needs to use torches. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move into the bedroom back here, and this area is going to be kind of not Longhouse themed at all. We have the rest of this build is pretty much all decoration. In this area, we're going to make useful things. We're going to do things like a bed. So maybe do like a huge master bed back here or something like that for you to sleep in. Then out here, you can do like a study. So take like some bookshelves, book cases, whatever these things are called, and like an enchanting table. Things like this to add out here. So I will maybe put this kind of in this corner, maybe something like this, and just add yourself however many bookshelves and things that you need back here in order to get full enchanting. So maybe we'll even have to do something like that. Not entirely sure, but this area can be for that. And then what else do you need in this area? I know like anvil, crafting tables, storage, so we can get some chests back here. Do like this, and maybe we'll just load up like this wall with chests, just like so. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Make sure that it is even all the way up. There you go. So you now have plenty of chests. Maybe remove that one. There you go. Plenty of chests. And then like a crafting table, anvil, things like that that you need. Go ahead and place over here as well. Let's go ahead and get ourselves an anvil over here. Just like so. And there you go. You now have a nice little bedroom. You can even add in like an armor stand and stuff like that to the center of the room, just as like a set piece. So maybe like we kind of have like a weird, this is a even number here. Maybe I'll do it here, kind of like so. And then what I'll do is add in some diamond armor, and this can be like the Jarl's armor. Once again, you got to kind of use your imagination whenever you're building things, but this could look kind of cool here at the beginning. So this is something that like the Jarl is very proud of, so he has like it in the center of the room. I quite like that. And then maybe we can do like, I don't know, an axe or something like that near him somewhere, maybe on the floor or something. I don't really know, but just giving you guys some ideas so you know what you can do in this area. You can also add more chests if you need more storage, things like that. But basically all of this area, for the most part, is detailed in however you want to. However you need this back room is how you can set this guy up. So that's going to be pretty much it for this build tutorial, though, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, as well as if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe. But I'm actually going to turn on shaders now and let you guys see what this build looks like in all of shaders beauty. So let's go ahead and get into it. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day.